Why do you think we still not have enough users on a Web3 space?
That's a really philosophical question. I think it's because our incentives are wrong. And this is kind of born out of just what crypto is, right? I think that crypto has always been at the core. The only proven value proposition is alternative finance, global finance. We see that with the birth of Bitcoin, right? Originally, it was more so used to experiment as a transfer of value as well, but now it's more so, I think, largely as a store of value. But there's other sort of, cryptos and alternatives that come out for transfer of value, namely stable coins. And then you see a lot of different projects trying to take shape in this space that pretend to be something else. But at the end of the day, still the core fundamental value is finance, right? That's why it's SocialFi and not just a social project. That's why it's GameFi and not just a game project. And so when you look at these GameFi and SocialFi projects, right? Like the question is, why do users use them? It's not because they are the next generation of social media that's going to overtake X or something else, but it's because people can get airdrops and they can arbitrage on the keys and all this other stuff, right? There's a huge financialized component to this. Same with GameFi, same with, AI and all this other stuff. I don't think the incentives are correct here because no one uses Twitter or X, I guess, or not no one, but very few people compared to the entire population of users use X because they're like, I want to make money. Right? They use X because they want to interact with people. They have fun. They do all these other things. They create meme cultures and all this stuff. And so their incentive to use X is not make money. But in Web3 right now, at the end of the day, I think a lot of the incentives are aligned around that. You're not going to attract the everyday user that just wants to have fun. You're only going to attract the people that are looking at this from a financial perspective.
It's sad, I can say, that we are working in a field where everybody cares about finances at the end of the day.
I mean, finance itself is not a bad thing, right? I mean, finance makes the world go round. But
yeah, sure.
I think the current chapter, and I think part of the reason why we're in this is, again, because Web3 is in starvation mode. I think if you came in as a builder into Web3 and we said, you have an audience of 1 billion people all around the world that are like so ready to use your product, I think builders would be more willing to take risk. They'd be more willing to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to build a revenue model through this rather than a token model through this. And I think that it's a chicken and egg problem because there's not enough users. App developers don't want to take risks. They just want to fork other applications and do what's been tried and true for other things, which perpetuates this FI cycle, which also means that no new users come in. And so we're kind of stuck in this loop. And I am optimistic that we'll be breaking out of this loop. But exactly how, I'm not entirely sure at the moment.
What do you think about the latest trend, Telegram mechanics, all these Telegram mini apps solve this problem? They really interact more and more users into the crypto space. Yes, all of them care only about airdrop to get their money, etc. But in general, they made this big step forward to expand more users. How do you plan to interact with all this new audience? Or you don't care about it and you just do your work?
No, I think we definitely care about it. In fact, we have a lot of games building on Manta right now that are also Telegram games. And so we've seen massive success there. Yeah. And actually, I went to Taiwan for Asia Blockchain Summit just a couple of weeks ago, and there were so many Telegram games. And so I do think that it's an ongoing trend.
Also in Asia?
Definitely.
Amazing.
Definitely. Yes. I think originally the wave started more so in Russia, but now it's really catching fire across like China and Taiwan and Hong Kong, Southeast Asia as well. But there are challenges, right? And I think namely 2 challenges come to mind. The first one is there's no doubt that many of these Telegram users, especially the ones interacting with these games, are also bots, right? Like, let's not kid ourselves here. So, it's not like the holy grail and all of a sudden we have 1 billion real users. And then the second thing is conversion. I think that a lot of these real users that are Telegram users that are not in Web3, the conversion rate has not necessarily been proven out yet. And I have a lot of examples of this because I've seen, for example, influencers in the crypto space try to launch projects of their own, right? Not naming any particular projects, but there's many of them, right? Not just like meme coins, but like actual projects that they try to build out. And for whatever reason, right, it doesn't turn out well. And I see that they really struggle with converting their audience into actual on-chain users. And so, I think one of the concerns here is like, will the Telegram audience have the same sort of issues? Or will the users be more adaptable and say, wow, this is fun and the conversion rate is amazing? And I hope the conversion rate is amazing because that's going to be super beneficial to the entire Web3 space. It's just that the history that I've seen in other attempts of converting one audience into another audience, usually these conversion rates are fairly low.
Hey, if you like this video, don't forget to watch a full episode and also check the links in the description below.